What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Your girl struggling today, but we're kind of back. I think we might be semi back. If you see the thumbnail, again, you already know what time it is. It's business as usual. Listen, everybody's saying, it's not a recession, Erica. It's a trust economy. There's a trust recession. People don't know what to do, where to spend their money. It's a trust recession. And I go, hey, nah, it's not a trust recession. It's overwhelm era. That's all. They're overwhelmed. And we're going to get into it today. Listen, drop your city and state in the chat. I know it's a little later than usual. I won't be here too long. Your girl had to run and go get some more different medicine and some more snacks for the house. And I'm getting back to the bed. I want to make this overarching conversation. If you haven't noticed me posting maybe on the wall a little while ago, that there are several tech companies who gave Donald Trump a big $1 million. All right. Right now, Meta, aka the Facebook, is now converting over, no more. We're not going to shadow ban. We're not going to stop what you're doing, what you're saying on there. We're just going to let the community decide what's the temperature in the room. And I want to tell you, why that is? You know why that happens? Because the backlash in economy, the backlash and where money is being spent. Many people don't think it matters. When people say, I'm going to boycott this, I'm going to boycott that. 9 times out of 10, those don't matter because most companies have bought a monopoly worth of items. So you want to boycott this ketchup? No worry. We own 40 other ketchups, right? Right now, when you talk about Jersey Mike's, everybody hates BlackRock, but who owns Jersey Mike's now? BlackRock, Blackstone, whatever, right? And people are getting to overwhelm. But this can work to your benefit. And we're going to talk a ton about it in there. But before we get into it, we're gonna have a little bit of word from our sponsor. Give me a second.
Hi, my name is David W. Williams, and I'm the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world, Options Trading Academy. Now, you may be asking this question: why should you want to learn from me and the highest paid part-time job in the world, Options Trading Academy? That answer is going to be relatively simple. Over the past 4 years, we've helped hundreds of people get the life that they desire by showing them how to leverage the options market as an options trader. Now, one of the biggest things that we've done is we've shown people how to make more money to supplement their income. We've taught this to teachers, policemen, firemen, drivers, homemakers, and even a pharmacist. Another really important thing that we've been able to do for hundreds of people is show them how to get their time back. Many people have been able to homeschool their children. They've been able to spend more time with their family because they become successful options traders. You may be asking yourself, do I need to quit my job to learn how to trade? No, you do not. We do not specifically only teach day trading. We can teach you how to trade on a long time frame, on a short time frame, and we can also teach you how to make money when the market goes up and also when the market goes down. You may have this question: do I get support after the sale? Yes, you do. We have the #1 trading community called the Stock Market Sharks. You become a member of that community after you purchase the course. And the benefit of being a member of that community is
What's up, everybody? We're back. A little bit of short there on there. But listen, if you're in here, drop that city and state in the chat. Let us know what's going on with you. Let us see you in the building. All right. Now, listen, if you see the link on the screen here, top 40 ebook, why is it in there? We had a video go, it's at 21,000 views now. Right now, it's slowing down. The algorithm is slowing it down a little bit, and that's okay. But long story short, people are looking for a simplistic answer to how can they change their life this year. And the truth remains is there's a couple different ways you can change your life this year. You got to do a rough assessment. You think because Donald Trump's in there, oh my God, Erica, the jobs, the people, the tariffs. Oh, he's going to pass the tariffs on to us. Oh my God, what happened to America first? All this rhetoric you're hearing, I want you to take a deep breath. Some of the things that are in your circle of control, this is always something you have to remember. What is in your circle of control? Your circle of control is the things you read, listen to, and partake in. You getting certifications this year, and there's like over 40. We named a ton of them the other day, right? I promise you, it is so very vital. These are things you can control. These are things you can tweak your resume. You can tweak who you hang out with, who you talk to over the next 4 years. You can tweak all that. Because let me be very clear. E-commerce, oil and gas, real estate, there's going to be gangbusters. And people want to be on the right side of history. What does that mean? If you see what happened the other day, Trump came out and said, hey, I just got $20 billion from the UAE to build data centers. Now, what y'all don't understand is what they said in that exchange is this is going to take up a lot of energy. Who is going to benefit the next 4 years in helping building energy centers? Solar panels on roofs of businesses, wind turbines, okay? Also, nuclear reactors. Who's going to benefit from that? Blue collar guys who know how to work those systems. Now, people who know how to work within the nuclear reactors, you're talking about on the technical side of things or mechanical engineering. There's going to be a 4-year period of kind of gangbusters if you're in motion. The problem is some people are still upset from November. They're not in motion, right? And there's something I'm commonly seeing where people, and this is what happens. People say, listen, Erica, I just need to I just need to eliminate stuff. I just need to eliminate stuff. And I go, what do you mean? They're talking about spring cleaning. No problem. Spring clean your house. But they're talking about spring cleaning their life. They're just getting rid of everything, right? When I hear people trying to talk about they're a minimalist, really what they're saying is I'm overwhelmed in every aspect of my life. So I just need to come home to a bed, a couch, and a TV. That's all I can take. I'm just so overwhelmed with my life. I can't even string together to put a piece of art on the wall. It'd be too much. So what you're coming into is an overwhelm era where a lot of these people are just physically and mentally overwhelmed because they're tired. Why are they tired? They're in low performing jobs, and not necessarily low performing, low paying jobs. And they have to think a little bit higher. And most people say, no, I just want to eliminate. I want to have more time freedom. I want peace of mind. There's a young man, there's 2 or 3 young men that I'm following that are super cool guys until they got overseas. Now they post 8 or 9, 10 times a day on freaking Facebook. Every time they're eating a snack, they're doing anything. And I'm like, did you go overseas for peace of mind? One of them, yes. And he seems happy. I'm glad for him. I'm always congratulating his pictures. The other 2 are posting for attention. Like, look at me, I'm overseas. Look at me, I'm overseas. Look at me, I'm overseas. I'm like, we get it. Where does this go to? What are you trying to sell us? That's really what I want to say under every post he puts. Are you trying to sell us a ebook, an itinerary, a sales group, a travel group? What are you trying to sell us? Because you running around yelling, look at me, I'm overseas and I'm so peaceful. Dude, you're posting 8 or 9 times a day on Facebook. Knock it off, right? You're overseas doing what? Knock it off, okay? And that may be me in the trust recession, or that I don't trust when I see somebody just posting ridiculously times a day. How are you enjoying your new away from America life if you're nonstop on this platform? There's 2 or 3 other business owners I know that moved overseas, and I'm proud of them. Like, I barely see them post. Like, they showed me the girlfriend. I'm like, cool, all right. Hey, I bought some property. Cool, that's great, man. Hey, if you come this way, come visit. No problem. That's normal everyday life. But when people have to have 3rd grade level simplicity to their problems, that's what we have going on right now in America. There's a young man put up a post and I said, America's the easiest place to make money right now. And I got to go into this rant, y'all. I have to do it. I was trying to hold it back, but I can't. And this guy wrote me like 7 paragraphs. It's not. America's terrible. And just emoting online on Facebook. And I was like, listen. Like, from my bed sick. I'm like, listen. This is still the easiest place online ever. You can come to America and barely speak English and get a job. Well, that's because they're taking advantage of all these poor people. And I watched this segment from the sickness of my bed. And it was about, they were interviewing these DACA dreamers. Now, let's be very clear. DACA dreamers, what does that mean? That means they're the past 13 years since Obama plus. They've been allowed to kind of be in America in this kind of limbo. Please don't get in trouble. We're trying to see what we're going to do. Now, the percent of the DACA people were mad and they're like, I'm leaving America. Bump America. Now, guess what every single one of the DACA people that were leaving America were doing? They were interviewing 2 of the guys and they said, hey, okay, so what are you going to do? He's like, well, I'm going to school for nursing. This dude's in his mid-30s. He'd been in Florida his whole life with his parents, right? Just wasn't born in America, right? And so he's out there just goofing, right? And so he's like, well, I'm going to nursing school now because Germany won't take me unless I have an actual skill. Other guy, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to college for welding. Okay, why are you doing this? Because I can't go to this other country unless I have a skill. I want y'all to think about that. These kids have been in America and they're in their mid-30s, have not had any kind of skills, just kind of been floating, working food service jobs, kind of working here and there, living with their parents, complaining about America, and been here in shelter, not homeless, homes, phones, cell phones, laptops. Again, you can never convince me that America is not one of the easiest rides out there. You literally have people coming here with barely an identification, laptops, clothes, shoes, cars, living well. Then they get mad if they want to leave and go to another country. Another country's like, what do you do? I just work at Chick-fil-A. I just work at the grocery store. I just work at H-E-B. I just work. You don't have no skill. You're not coming to my country. Okay, well, I'm going to go to school for nursing real quick. Think about that. You're telling people every day when you come on this internet that America's the hardest place ever. I'm struggling in America. I can't make it in America. But if you try to leave here and go to another country because you need some work to get there, every single one of those people all of a sudden was like, well, damn, let me go to school real quick. If this boy, instead of waiting until he's 37 to go to nursing school so he can leave and go to Germany, had went to nursing school at 22, his life in America would have been what? His life in America would have been amazing. He'd have been a nurse for the past 12 years. He'd have had a house and a car and a business visa. A lot of them were saying, well, I don't want to get a business visa. They said, why don't you want to get a business visa? Oh, it's $100K. I don't want to spend $100K for the business visa. I just want them to give me amnesty, grant me the America. And what they're telling you is that, hey, I came to America and I see all these other Americans ain't doing a lot of stuff. Why do I have to work hard? And that's essentially what you're hearing right now, you guys. And so what you have when they say it's a trust recession, most people say, well, let me give people more information. They need more information. Let me give them some more information. Then you get more information. Guess what? Now you're what? Overwhelmed. Which makes you do what? Not listen. Which makes you do what? Do nothing. You have to reach a tipping point in your life where you say, dang, I need to do a rough assessment. What has to change for me to change? What has to pivot for me to pivot? So I have people when I share, hey, here's some certifications. Oh my God, I got to do certifications. You know, they're giving these jobs to foreigners. And I'm like, but you have no skills. You have no degree. You haven't worked a job in any kind of relevance to this relevant to this your whole adult life. So I don't always want to come on here ranting, but I want you to understand the tipping point for some of y'all is going to be when you run out of funds. I saw this guy today posting. He was so shocked that he had a 68-year-old client who has no retirement, right? And he met him, and basically at 62, he started saving for retirement. Listen, I'm not here to discourage anybody. If I'm 62 years old and I'm just now saving for retirement, I want you to understand, go watch a show called Old Dogs Network. It's a podcast. It's always interviewing these older people and they're asking them what happened. What was the tipping point? And the tipping point for a lot of them was realizing they weren't going to be able to retire or they were in bad health. A young lady was saying how her dad was going towards a home and the home was charging, she thought she was going to get $5,000 a month. They're like, no, $9,000 a month for the particular suite she picked out. And she got on the phone with one of the residential living assistance people that, can help her have a different option. And she said, basically, you could rent out 2 rooms of your house to other elderly, charge them $5K a month, have a nurse come and take care of all of them. Have a nurse come and take care of all of them. You just got to get the bathrooms redone. Now, many of you are going to say, Erica, bathroom remodeling is so expensive. No, check out a lot of the commercials for the bathroom remodeling companies. They charge 10 to 15K. We just did that on several properties to accommodate older tenants in North Carolina. And the same prices here in Texas, right? So you have to understand, like, I could spend 10K, convert the middle bathroom, and have nurses and home aides that are going to be anywhere from $12 to $18 an hour coming in to take care of my father, who was her original issue, and on the flip end, take care of these 2 other guests. And guess what that'll do? That'll ultimately make her probably $100,000 a year, in the plus gross before she starts to pay out for these nurses or pay out for home health aides, which is different prices. And some people are saying, Erica, that's a lot of moving parts. You know, I just want my father to get good care. Well, guess what's going to happen? You're either going to have to make more money, right? No one wants to hear that part. But build an ADU onto your house, get a home health nurse, comes to the back, checks on your parent, or consider new creative options. And that's one of them. People always want to say, well, gosh, it costs like $9,000 for someone to come to be in, the parents to be in these old folks' homes. Okay, well, how much does it cost for a nurse to come visit daily? How much does it cost for a home health aide? How much does that cost, right? So somewhere in here, you got to give. States are now even paying family members $1,000 to almost $1,500 if you're basically caring for your parent and getting to a lot of these transportation places. It saves money on the state. We can just give you $1,000 and make sure you take your parent everywhere, so we ain't got to send transportation to pick your parent up. It saves money. And that's going to be the tipping point for a lot of people. That's why I keep bringing it up on this channel. I know people think, why you keep bringing this up? And I'm like, people kind of selling you a dream, right? New York has senior living for people with empty rooms that can be rented for income. There you go. States are going to start modifying towards that. Okay. So again, someone's always showing you they're overseas, they're traveling, they're partying. That's just one segment. You know, how are they going to make income, and what happens in a couple of years? There's a beautiful Black lady. I posted it on the wall. She's like went viral, maybe 150,000 views. And she was like, I lived overseas for 15 years. I just came back to America. Well, why you come back to America? You was overseas. What's wrong? Enjoy overseas. And what the math is, a lot of y'all are not mathing it and won't, have a realistic moment is it costs. It costs. What's the potential cost for you getting care overseas? What's the potential cost for you staying overseas? How often can your family fly to where you live? How often can you fly to America? This is a big conversation y'all not really ready to have. A lot of people are, there was a woman who said her grandma felt like Houston was a prison. So they went over to China. They had a round trip ticket, and the grandma just stayed. She saw a really nice old folks home and said, I'm just going to stay at this. Now, that's crazy. But again, if she's from China and she's been in America only X amount of time, that may be the best bet for her. Okay. So what can you get from this channel? What is the point of me doing these videos? Why am I trying to market this? I truly believe the next 4 years is going to be absolutely over the top gangbusters. I think it's going to be so much money being made. Someone made a comment the other day that it's going to be like the Gilded Age. Now, the problem with the Gilded Age reference is there was a lot of corruption. Do I feel there's a lot of corruption? For sure. But I don't think workers are being abused. I don't think workers are being damaged like 1920s coal mines, climbing on, building New York City Empire State Building and all that stuff. I don't think we're in that kind of desperate times. I think right now, if you are a person who knows how to fix things, you're going to be very wealthy. If you're a person who knows technical aspects, because it's so short on technical people, you're going to make a lot of money. And so for those who are not involved in those two careers or anything to do with those, you're going to feel kind of temporarily left behind. If you don't have any money in stocks, you don't own a home right now, you don't have a skill that's high on demand, you're going to kind of feel left behind. And that is kind of the rally cry you're hearing on the internet right now. They're very upset because they're feeling the pinch of an economy that's kind of running without them. Like when your job is not like a super needed, valuable, like we need you to come in, right? That's the thing. AI tech, that's a given. It's not even a conversation piece. That's a given. But I just want you guys to what gets you motion? What is going to get you motion? Now, another example I was going to use, Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy is in DFW, retired NFL player, is in commercial real estate. Why? The DFW is just going to be ridiculously. This is going to be like boom, 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 gangbusters. And you just have to kind of make use of that as much as possible. Jayway say, I'm stuck in California because my parents have not planned for the end of their lives. They're stubborn, won't leave despite not having the means to continue the higher quality life here. You're going to have to keep broaching the conversation with them. Like, hey, oh my God, I called this place and it said it's this much cost. Can you believe that? Or a home health nurse costs this much. And please be safe. I know you're in California and I know it's fires going on, so be safe on top of that. But you're going to have to keep kind of beautifully dressing the conversation, because you don't want to kind of last ditch move to Arizona or last ditch move to Las Vegas, which I see a lot of California folks doing just as a last ditch effort to save some money, right? They just go over there, they buy a cheap house in a subdivision, and they're like, whoof, we just saved some money leaving California. And that's not exactly the best, but I see people doing it. I see a lot of people doing it. We're dealing with no power in LA. These fires are disturbing our peace. I pray for y'all. Good luck. I mean, it's really, really unfortunate how that's turning out. And what's interesting is today they dropped the list of people who have perished in North Carolina 3 months later, but I think they also have more information they're gonna have to come out with. Oh, for sure, DFW is a gold mine. I mean, all of Texas, Florida, Arizona, Tennessee, Carolinas, it's gonna be gold mine for the next 15 years. It just depends on where do you want to get in on it and how do you want to promote it. And this is why I'm so big on like digital liberty warriors, because I want you to understand the digital landscape. You can promote to everybody. You can run ads all over the world, all over the country, right? There's a guy who made Millionaire Mind. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? Millionaire Mind, T. Hard Eckert, Millionaire Mind. Let me know if you guys know who that is in the chat. He is in his late 60s at this point. But I saw him partner with two younger men to kind of research his brand again. Millionaire Mind this spring, right? And they kind of have a thing coming out. The woman I always talk about, I'm trying to be careful. She talks a lot about Source. What's that older woman's name? Dang it. J.J. Abrams? I think it's J.J. Abrams. I may be going wrong. I'm still sick here. And she's even coming out doing a series of tours. Now, I want to hear her, but I'm nervous to hear her because now she's in her like 70s, 80s. And I'm like, is it going to be the same? But I see what's happening. It's like a lot of older artists are trying to get that last kind of lump sum of money. You saw how what's his name? Frankie Beverly Mays. He literally, Esther Hicks. Thank you so much. You guys are so helpful. You guys know I'm struggling here. Esther Hicks and them are much older now, but they're doing another tour. Well, then you also have Charlie Wilson's coming down the road in a minute, right? You have a lot of these artists who are doing these tours, and you would think at 70-something, 80-something, I'm not doing a tour. I'm not running around on the road. And I'm like, I think it's a combination they have to, and that's money that's just their money. Because the tours are not even 8 cities. Some of them are like 6 cities. And then the first leg does well, then they go 6 more cities. Then that leg does well, 6 more cities. In the event space, I've already seen I'm talking about big level event festivals. They're already promoting for June festivals now. They're already promoting for October Formula One in Austin now, right? They're already promoting for season football tickets now. Get your tickets now. And you're like, whoa. But I want you to understand this, the next couple of years is going to be so fast paced, and financially, the people who are already in motion are going to stay in motion. It's just, they're going to stay in motion. And so you have to determine, okay, Erica, this is what I'm looking forward to. This is what I'm trying to do. This is the cost for my, Jay, I saw your comment. This is the cost for my parents' care. This is what I'm estimating. So either we go find an extra $26,000 a year, or we move, or we relocate, or we have home health care or home health aides, or what are we doing? What's the the movement here? And our friend that's in insurance was just so upset about his 68-year-old client who's in bad health, doesn't have a lot of options. And I'm like, that is what you're going to see a lot of coming out of a lot of people. Is I told him, I know people hate hearing it, but reverse mortgage, depending on where his kids are at. And they're like, well, that takes away from his family, Erica. Well, what also takes away from his family is not having resources to take care of himself in his later years. It's a double-edged sword. And so you'll see me kind of heavily promote real estate stuff this year and a few other things this year. But for me, I am like many other I hate to say influencers, that y'all have ruined the word, but business media company creators. I've literally am pushing heavy on e-com products that I use, like, and know and trust. Pushing on those, promoting those, and then taking that money and putting it into some multifamily that I build from the ground up, because that's the best bang for your buck at this point. You can get a 60-acre lot. It's best bang for your buck. And then also leaning towards some residential living assistance stuff. So there's a reason I'm going that way. And I know this country is so unprepared. The average person is just very unprepared. And instead of calling it a trust recession, we need to call it overwhelmed. Because if I tell you, hey, in 2 weeks, sweet Yoni, we're going to Miami, all of a sudden the trust recession's gone. You're like, hey, let me look at all these apartments. Let me look at all these hotels in Miami and focus my whole attention on what I'm going to do in Miami in the next 2 weeks. I've seen it over and over. And people try to say, oh, America's doing this or that. When they want to focus, they hyper focus for 2 weeks. Right? So I think I mentioned it in our Digital Liberty Warriors group. I'm like, they're showing all these people sick from these candles, these plugins. That's going to be a really big business model on getting people to open up their window in their house, fresh air, right? Or using these beeswax tallow candles, right? They just had a study coming out about beef lard being super healthy for you. So now we're going to have people going back to a lot of stuff where, hey, avocado oil is not good for you. This oil is not good for you. Seed oils are bad for you. Now you're going to have people switching back to more traditional items. That's going to be a huge thing. Where in Texas doesn't have crazy drivers? I was in DFW, scared for my life on the highway. I was looking at it. So Cicely, if you're feeling very crazy drivers in DFW, that's actually California drivers you're dealing with. I'm being real serious. That's a huge number. We have Dallas has some of the highest numbers of California, LA relocated, and Oakland relocated drivers over the whole United States. Dallas, Texas. Majority of the people you're driving with that's driving like crazy are from California. Just honest. And DFW has a lot of just everybody from everywhere. All right. So that's kind of like what's going on. Goat's milk, distilled water. Yeah, all that stuff. J-Way, it's frustrating because that's where all the boomers are mentally stuck in the 90s and 2000s. They don't. It really is going to come down to math. You're going to have to keep trying to like reinforce, hey, I looked up this, cost of this home health aid and it costs this much. Can you believe that? Now, your parents hearing that, they can go one or two ways, like shocked at the cost of things or deciding, okay, like, hey, A, B, and C, right? So whenever people say Texas drivers are crazy, I'm like, have you been to Florida? Have you been to Atlanta? Have you driven in New York? I don't know if you guys have or not. But yeah, those are places that are pretty rough. But yeah, it's all based on tipping points. So there has to be tipping points in your life and in your business. And so what you reach is a tipping point and say, hey, this works or this doesn't work. And that's what I hope a lot of you are reaching as we go to 2025 here. We're in 2025. And already I feel like, dang it, started the year off with the freaking flu. It's slowing me down. Dang it. But honestly, I've been able to lay in bed and go, think. Just most people don't have time to think. They're just ripping and running. And I just had a conversation, an hour conversation earlier with a friend who literally they spent a week with the in-laws. They came back. The kids were sick for a week. Then they had to hop back into work schedule and work travel. And that's a lot, you guys. That's a lot in a 3-week span. Like they didn't even get to enjoy what we would say December is. They didn't even get to enjoy it, So I know that's a lot of people's reality. I'm not tone deaf to that. But if I can strongly encourage you to grab your calendars, chart out your year right now as best as you can. Some, catch a concert or two or a festival or two in there. Give Beyonce some time. If it's February, March, she's going to tell you where she's going to do a tour or not. But that's the math. You have to sit down and say, okay, what's the math on my parents? What's the math on vacations this year for me? And what does a 5-year outlay look like? Kind of giving yourself some math. And we recently have lost a couple of family members, extended friends of the family. And we also lost, unfortunately, we're getting ready to lose another person in our family. And it just reminds me about paperwork. I try my hardest to tell y'all, like, make sure your paperwork is in order. Make sure your funeral arrangements are in order, because if you don't have that stuff written down and documented, the family member or the kid in the family that you don't agree with, or you don't rock with, may be the one making your life decisions. So I want y'all to be very clear on that. Like, if nothing else you hear out of this shows I'd put out with you guys is to kind of get past the overwhelmed. You have to decide, all right? You have to decide. So, oh Lord. After being in Cali and commuting 3 hours daily. Yes, some of you drivers leave questions. Oof, wow. That's a long commute. God bless you. Love this advice. Time to be honest about your finances and having boundaries. Yeah. So, yeah, do estate planning. Yeah. So listen, you guys, yes, we still do one-on-ones. We have consulting calls and coaching calls. Like, always in the description, we're going to have the links available. Always on the community wall, constantly posting links for you guys to reach out, contact, and all that good stuff. But probably won't have a ton this year. We literally have a heavy pack year of e-com brand building. And hopefully those videos will be able to get up here pretty soon. Probably get some help from AM1 and the editor in Africa. But to show you guys, like, building e-com brands, why that was important for us in our business and our business model, and then also doing some above ground construction. So, all right, you guys, it's your girl Erica. I'm not gonna hold you long. I promised y'all I was out of here. So listen, good luck. Stay safe. I know the next couple of days are wintry, weathery mix. If I were you, I'd buckle down, maybe watch some of those certifications, get some training in, help yourself to that, and get ready to be buckle up, because it's about to be a very, very wild year. Trump and all these people are going to literally steamroll in a lot of nuclear, a lot of gas, a lot of oil and gas. I don't think we're really ready. So it's your girl Erica, Classic Climb Blog. Out here, out of the bed for a few minutes and the house. You guys.
You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance. And guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who could do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done. And that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Erica Williams.